Hello there, language lovers and curious minds, and a huge warm welcome back to another exciting episode of Idiom Insights. I'm Emma, ready once again to be your navigator through the often winding but always wonderful pathways of everyday English expressions. It's absolutely lovely to have you here.
And a cheerful hello from me, Jack, your friendly companion in connotation, here to add a touch of wit and maybe a groan-worthy pun to our linguistic journey. We are genuinely delighted you've decided to plug in your headphones and join us for another session here on Idiom Insights. Let's explore some English magic.
Magic indeed, Jack, because understanding idioms truly unlocks a new level of communication. Today, we have 4 absolutely fantastic idioms ready for dissection. These are phrases you'll hear in conversations with friends, colleagues, and even in movies, so getting familiar with them is incredibly useful.
You bet! Prepare yourselves for some insightful moments, folks. Today, right here on Idiom Insights, we're going to investigate these common and colorful expressions. First, one we've probably all experienced. Time flies when you're having fun. So true, isn't it? Then, an idiom about getting upset. To get bent out of shape. Let's hope none of us do that during the episode. Third, a phrase for when things go from bad to worse. To make matters worse. Oh dear, sounds like trouble piling up. And finally, an expression for uncertainty. Up in the air, where plans sometimes live before they land.
What a brilliant selection, Jack. They really cover a range of common human experiences. Now, before we dive into why time seems to accelerate when we're enjoying ourselves, just a tiny friendly reminder from your pals at Idiom Insights. If you are enjoying these explorations and don't want to miss out on learning more idioms with us, please do consider clicking that subscribe or follow button on your favorite podcast app.
Yes, please do. It helps us immensely. And while you're at it, a quick tap on the like button or leaving a positive rating truly brightens our day and helps other brilliant English learners discover the show. Think of it as virtual applause. Okay, mission accomplished. Emma, shall we start with the concept of fun speeding up the clock?
Let's. Our first saying today is the very well-known proverb, "Time flies when you're having fun." Jack, it feels intuitively true, but what does it mean in essence?
It feels true because it often is. Essentially, time flies when you're having fun means that time seems to pass very quickly when you are engaged in an activity that you enjoy. Hours can feel like minutes when you're absorbed in something pleasurable or entertaining, whereas time can seem to drag on forever when you're bored or doing something unpleasant. It's about the perception of time being affected by your emotional state.
That's a perfect description. You get so caught up in the enjoyment of the moment that you don't notice the clock ticking. For example, you might go to a party intending to stay for just an hour, but you get caught up in great conversations, dancing, and laughter, and suddenly you realize it's 2 a.m. You definitely say, "Wow, I can't believe it's so late already." Time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. Or think about playing a video game you love or reading a really captivating book. You start playing or reading, and what feels like maybe 30 minutes later, you look up and discover 3 hours have actually passed. That feeling is exactly time flies when you're having fun. The engagement and enjoyment make time subjective.
It's a universal experience, I think. Now, let's listen to Mia and Mark. It sounds like they had an enjoyable experience that made them lose track of time, maybe a day out.
Mark, I am absolutely exhausted, but in the best possible way. What an amazing day that was at the art festival in the park. Did you enjoy it as much as I did?
Enjoy it? Mia, it was fantastic. I honestly wasn't sure what to expect, but wandering around looking at all the different stalls, watching those street performers, listening to the live music, it was just brilliant. The atmosphere was great too, wasn't it? Everyone seemed so happy.
Completely. And wasn't that sculpture exhibition incredible? I could have spent another hour just looking at those intricate metalwork pieces. And did you try that amazing spiced apple drink from that one stall? It was delicious.
I did. It was perfect for the slightly chilly afternoon air. And you know what's crazy? We got there around lunchtime, right? And we spent ages looking at the paintings. Then we watched that acrobatic group for ages. Then we grabbed that drink and listened to the band.
Yes? What's crazy about that? It was a lovely, full afternoon.
Well, I just glanced at my watch when we were walking back to the car. Do you realize it was nearly 7 p.m. when we left the park? We were there for almost 7 hours. It felt like maybe 3 or 4 hours, tops.
7 hours? No way. Are you serious? It honestly felt like half that time. Well, I guess it's true what they say. Time flies when you're having fun. We were so absorbed in everything, the hours just melted away.
Absolutely. Sign of a truly great day out. My feet might be aching, but my mind feels refreshed. Totally worth losing track of time for.
That's a perfect example. They were so engrossed in the enjoyable activities at the festival, the art, the music, the atmosphere, that 7 hours passed without them really noticing. Mia's concluding remark, "Time flies when you're having fun," perfectly captures that feeling.
It really does. It highlights how enjoyment alters our perception of time's passage. So listeners, when was the last time time flew by for you because you were having fun? What were you doing? We'd love for you to share your experiences in the comments section for this Idiom Insights episode.
Let's move on to an idiom that describes a less pleasant emotional state. Our second phrase today is to get bent out of shape. Emma, this sounds rather physical, like twisting metal. What does it mean when a person gets bent out of shape?
Haha, it does conjure a funny image. When someone gets bent out of shape about something, it means they become very angry, upset, annoyed, or agitated, often more than the situation really warrants. It implies an overreaction or taking something too personally. You're suggesting their reaction is disproportionate to the cause.
Ah, so it's about overreacting angrily or getting unduly upset. For example, if you accidentally spill a tiny drop of coffee on your colleague's unimportant paperwork and they start shouting and complaining loudly about it for 10 minutes, you might think, wow, there's no need to get bent out of shape over such a small thing. Their reaction seems excessive.
Exactly. Or imagine you make a constructive suggestion about how a friend could slightly improve their presentation skills, and instead of considering it, they become really defensive and angry, accusing you of criticizing them unfairly. You could describe their reaction by saying they really got bent out of shape about your feedback.
It emphasizes the excessiveness or unreasonableness of the anger or annoyance. Let's tune in to Mia and Mark again. Is someone getting agitated over something perhaps not worth the fuss? Maybe a minor mistake or inconvenience?
Morning, Mark. Did you manage to print out those concert tickets I forwarded to you last night? The concert is tonight, remember, and we need the physical copies.
Morning, Mia. Yes, I remembered. I tried printing them just now, but the printer is completely out of black ink. Again! I just replaced that cartridge maybe 2 weeks ago. It's absolutely ridiculous how quickly it runs out. A spare cartridge? Well, that's helpful, but it doesn't change the fact that this printer is infuriating. Why design something that uses up ink so fast? It's practically highway robbery. And now I have to fiddle around changing the cartridge when I was trying to finish reading the news. It's just typical. Everything is designed to inconvenience you.
Oh, is it out again already? That's annoying. Don't worry though, I have a spare black ink cartridge in the study drawer. I bought a multi-pack last time. I can grab it for you now if you like. Mark, calm down. It's just an ink cartridge. Yes, it's a bit annoying that it ran out, but I have a spare one right here. It will take literally 2 minutes to change it. And then you can print the tickets and get back to your news. There's really no need to get bent out of shape about it.
I am calm. I'm just stating facts about the inefficiency of modern technology. It's frustrating.
Okay, just take a breath. It's a minor inconvenience, not a major disaster. Let's just change the ink and print the tickets. No need for all this agitation.
You can certainly hear Mark's frustration building there, can't you? While running out of ink is undeniably annoying, his reaction, getting quite agitated, calling it highway robbery, complaining about inconvenience, seemed a bit strong, especially since Mia immediately offered a solution, the spare cartridge.
Exactly. Mia's response, "Lady, there's really no need to get bent out of shape about it," correctly identifies his reaction as perhaps excessive for the relatively small problem at hand. It highlights the idiom's meaning of getting overly upset. So, listeners, what kinds of minor things sometimes cause people to get bent out of shape? Or what makes you get bent out of shape? Let us know your thoughts below.
Moving on to our third idiom, which deals with situations going from bad to, well, even worse. It's to make matters worse. Jack, this sounds like adding fuel to the fire.
It has a very similar feel, Emma. To make matters worse is a phrase used to introduce an additional problem or negative factor that exacerbates an already bad or difficult situation. Things were already not great, and then something else happened that compounded the issue or added another layer of difficulty or unpleasantness.
Precisely. It signals that a bad situation deteriorated even further. For example, you could say, I woke up late for my important job interview, and to make matters worse, my car wouldn't start. Being late was already bad, but the car trouble added another significant problem, making the situation much more difficult.
Perfect example. Or imagine someone saying, "We were having a terrible time camping. It rained nonstop for 2 days. And to make matters worse, we discovered a hole in our tent on the second night." The constant rain was bad enough, but the hole in the tent clearly added a significant extra problem, making the experience even more miserable.
It really emphasizes the piling up of negative circumstances. Let's hear from Mia and Mark. What unfortunate chain of events are they discussing?
Mia, you are not going to believe the journey I had coming home tonight. It was absolutely dreadful from start to finish.
Oh no, Mark, what happened? Was the traffic just really bad again? Sometimes that main road gets completely gridlocked around this time.
The traffic was bad, yes, that was the start of it. A journey that usually takes 30 minutes took well over an hour because of some accident ahead. I was just crawling along, getting later and later, and increasingly frustrated.
Oh, an hour just sitting in traffic sounds awful. That's bad enough on its own. So you were already feeling stressed?
Exactly. Already stressed, already late getting home. But then, to make matters worse, just as the traffic finally started moving properly, my phone battery died, completely dead.
Oh no, not your phone. You use that for navigation sometimes, don't you? And didn't you need to call your mother back tonight about her hospital appointment?
Precisely. I needed the navigation because there were diversions due to the accident, sending me through unfamiliar back streets. And yes, I had promised Mom I'd call her the minute I got home. So I was stuck in traffic for ages, then got lost because my phone died, and I couldn't even call Mom to let her know I'd be late calling her back. It just went from bad to worse to even worse.
Wow, Mark. Being stuck was bad, but to make matters worse with the dead phone, especially needing navigation and needing to call your mom, that really did turn a bad journey into a terrible one. You must be exhausted. Let me make you a cup of tea.
You can really track the escalation of problems there. The bad traffic was the initial issue. Mark then uses "to make matters worse" to introduce the additional significant problem of his phone battery dying, which clearly compounded his difficulties, getting lost, unable to call his mother.
It perfectly illustrates how the phrase links an initial negative situation with a subsequent event that intensifies the problem. So, listeners of Idiom Insights, can you think of a time when something happened to make matters worse in a situation you experienced or heard about? Share your general examples in the comments. And that leads us to our fourth and final idiom for today's episode, an expression about uncertainty. Up in the air. Jack, where do things go when they are up in the air?
Well, literally, they might be floating, but idiomatically, Emma, if a plan, decision, or situation is up in the air, it means it is uncertain, undecided, or unresolved. No final decision has been made and the outcome is not yet known. Things haven't settled. They are still floating, metaphorically speaking.
That's a great way to put it. Still floating, not yet landed. So, if someone asks you about your holiday plans for next summer, but you haven't booked anything or even decided where you want to go, you could reply, "Oh, our summer holiday plans are still completely up in the air." It means nothing is definite yet.
Exactly. Or perhaps a company is considering relocating its office. Until the final decision is announced about the new location and the moving date, the employees might say that the relocation project is still up in the air. Key details are undecided and unknown.
It clearly signifies a state of uncertainty and lack of resolution. Let's listen to Mia and Mark one last time. What plans or situations are they discussing that haven't been finalized?
Mark, have you heard anything definite from your sister about whether they're actually moving house? Last time we spoke, she mentioned they were thinking about it, maybe moving closer to her new job, but it all sounded very vague.
No, I spoke to her briefly yesterday, and honestly, it sounds like the whole situation is still completely up in the air. She said they've looked at a couple of houses they quite liked in the new area, but they haven't even put their current house on the market yet.
Oh, really? So they haven't even decided for sure if they are moving, let alone where or when?
Exactly. According to her, it all depends on whether they get a good offer on their current place quickly and whether that perfect house near her work is still available if they do sell. Plus, she mentioned her husband isn't 100% convinced about moving yet anyway. There are so many variables involved.
Wow. So thinking about it was definitely the right phrase. It sounds like everything about the potential move, the decision itself, the timing, the location, is totally up in the air. It might happen or it might not happen at all.
Precisely. She said she'd let us know if and when things become more concrete. But for now, it's all just up in the air. No point us speculating too much until they actually decide something firm.
That conversation perfectly illustrates the meaning. Mark uses "up in the air" repeatedly to describe his sister's moving situation because so many key factors, The decision to sell, finding a new house, the husband's agreement, timing are all undecided and uncertain.
Yes, Mia accurately reflects this uncertainty by agreeing that the entire situation is up in the air. It clearly communicates that nothing is fixed or definite yet. So listeners, what plans or decisions in your life, or perhaps in the world around you, currently seem a bit up in the air? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section for Idiom Insights. And just like that, we've explored another quartet of common and useful English idioms. Let's take a moment to quickly recap the expressions we've learned today.
We certainly zipped through them, didn't we? Maybe time flew because we were having fun. Today on Idiom Insights, we covered time flies when you're having fun. Time seems to pass quickly during enjoyable activities. To get bent out of shape, to become excessively angry, upset, or annoyed. To make matters worse, to add another problem to an already bad situation. Up in the air, uncertain, undecided, or unresolved.
Excellent summary, Jack. We sincerely hope that breaking down these idioms, exploring their meanings, and listening to the dialogues has helped solidify them in your minds. Remember, exposure and practice are your best friends when learning idioms.
Absolutely. Try to spot them when you're listening to English speakers or reading, and don't be afraid to incorporate them into your own speech when the moment feels right. And if you felt this episode was time well spent, we'd be ever so grateful if you could show your appreciation with a like, a rating, or even a quick positive review.
And crucially, please make sure you're subscribed or following Idiom Insights. That way, you won't miss our next deep dive into the fascinating ocean of English expressions. We truly value having you as part of our fantastic community of learners.
We certainly do. So until we meet again, keep your ears open, keep practicing, keep asking questions, and keep enjoying the incredible journey of language learning. Bye for now, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Take very good care and happy learning.